And today we're going to talk about chapters 12 to 22 in Pax Journey Home, which is the second book in the Pax series. So let's start, okay, guys? What do you think how do you think he felt as he sat on the reservoir wall? How do you think that his future is going to be like? And if you had been Peter, how would you have felt? Also, how do you like freedom? Because Peter sort of wants freedom, right? I also wanted to ask you about the water warriors, right? What do you think about all the do you like how it's all organized? And do you think that if you have been Peter, would you have done infrastructure, communications, or ecosystems? Also, there was also a boy and a girl, right? What did you think about the boy and the girl? And also, do you think that that Jade, right, the girl, do you think that she saw Pax and Bristle and the little kids or not? Or do you think it's somebody else, some other foxes? And also, what do you think about the water? What do you think about the water? And do you think that they will be able to save the environment or not? Also, I wanted to ask you about something else, and it's about Jade and Samuel, right? Do you think that Peter is ready to go, traveling? And if you have been Jade and Samuel, would you have been impressed that not only did Peter make a trip last year, right? Starting at the cliffs, 40 miles, right? And all that, right? And alone on crutches. That's impressive, right? Okay, so I also wanted to ask you about why do you think that the humans were doing the fire, And also I also wanted to ask you about the kid, right? She followed Pax. Were you surprised or not? And what did you feel about this? And if you had been Pax, how would you have reacted to this? Chapter 14. So, what do you think about Peter's knowledge of trees? And because he's really good, right, with trees. And so what I wanted to ask you was, do you think that this knowledge of trees, do you think that this will help more and more as the story continues or not? And what did you think about birch bending anyway? Do you think that was cool or do you think that was dangerous? And what do you think about their traveling anyway? Do you think that, what do you think about it at all? And also, I wanted to ask you about the last paragraph in this chapter is this. Peter pushed a fist against his chest, imagining there really was a stone in his heart, and thought, make it a rock. What do you think about this? I wanted to ask you, Peter, do you think that it's good for Peter to think this or not? Okay, so I wanted to ask you about the people, right? And there's also the river. How do you think that the kid felt that she's learning so much about the world? She's going out, she's learning so much. How do you think that she felt about this? And also, Pax and the Runt. How do you think that they make a good family? And do you think that Pax makes a good father too? Okay, chapter 16, back to Peter. So, I wanted to ask you about water, right? And how it can be contaminated and all that. And it was just dead, right? Sometimes it was all dead. And how do you like this? And how do you like war in the first place? It causes trouble and chaos. I don't like war. And do you like war or not? And also, I also wanted to ask you about the raccoons, nest of raccoons. What did you feel about them? And were you sad, or did you feel hope that maybe animals could survive? Also, I wanted to ask you about something else. It's how do you think that war impacted Samuel? And how do you think that Jade helped Samuel anyway? Okay, chapter 17, back to Pax. So, what did you think about the kid learning how to swim? Do you think that she will be able to get some good swimming lessons from Pax or not? Okay, but before we keep on going, I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you, how do you think this kid felt about swimming? And I also wanted to ask you, how do you feel about swimming? And do you think that swimming is an important part of a fox's life? Because people might have different opinions about this, but still, swimming might be important or might not be important, right? Okay, we're going to chapter 18 now. Okay, so what do you think of kindness as the secret weapon of Jade? Do you think that kindness is really a weapon or not? And do you think that there are weapons that heal you and not hurt you? What do you also think about Peter, and do you think that this wood, right? This wood, I just wanted to ask you, because I was really curious. Do you think that Peter will have to use the wood in some way to survive or not? Okay. Also, what do you think about? I really wanted to ask you something, because this was actually something I kept on thinking about. And what I wanted to ask you about was Peter is with Jade and Samuel. How do you think that he is feeling about this? How do you think that he and he's being happy, right? I mean, he's not wah, right? Not that happy, not cheering happy, but still he's okay, right? He's okay with them. And why do you think that he is so okay with them? And do you think that Peter's plan is good to go back to his house or not? And do you think that he will succeed to go to his house, or do you think that he will turn back? Okay, so Vola, do you think that Peter, who would you call Vola, a guardian or a friend? I was just really curious. And how do you think that, losing parents, how do you think that this is what impacted Peter, and that was why he wanted to make his heart into a stone? Why do you think that Peter wanted to make his heart into a stone in the first place? And if you had been Peter, would you have done the same thing? Also, I wanted to ask you about his grandfather, okay? What do you think about the grandfather? And do you think that he's a good grandfather or not? Okay. Okay, we're going to chapter 19, back to Pax. Okay, so so the kid. What do you think about the kid now? And do you think that this kid will actually get good at swimming? And then his boy was here. We learned that. Do you think that Pax should go to his boy or not? Well, Pax doesn't follow, right? Well, yeah, he doesn't really follow. And do you think that they should go to Peter or not? Because this might help, right? Or in some way. And what do you think about the relationship between Peter and Pax? Do you think it's getting a little unsteady now again? Because, you know, they're separated. Peter's making his heart into a stone. Pax doesn't really follow Peter's scent trail, right? So, do you think that this relationship is breaking up right now? Okay, we're going to chapter 20, back to Peter. And what I wanted to ask you about Peter, you know, it's about, you know, how his mother, she used to, you know, put her bare feet and then it's like, brr, icicles, brr, right? What do you think about these memories that keep on coming back to Peter, right? They keep on coming back. Do you think that Peter should block out these memories, or do you think that these memories are precious in a way and that he should keep them because they are precious? They're really precious, right? And what do you think of Jade, right? Do you think that Jade is going to make Peter feel better? And can you compare Jade to anybody in your life? Okay, chapter 21. Do you agree with Pax that not all humans are bad? And also, what do you think about Pax and the kid, okay? What I wanted to ask about Pax and the kid was, why do you think that the author chose this little kid? Why do you think that the author sort of, you know, she's the main kid in the story, right? Not the other kids. Why do you think that the author did that? And we're going back to Peter in chapter 22. Okay, so I wanted to ask you. Okay. What I wanted to ask you about was, you know, the bird, right? There was a thing with the bird. And do you think that if you connect with nature, do you think that helps you in a way, sort of like a therapy? And also, do you think that actually animals can sort of know, they can communicate with you? Do you think that's possible? And do you think that one day we will actually be able to know what animals are thinking and speaking? Also, I wanted to ask you about non-dualism. Actually, I might have pronounced that wrong, but anyway, what do you think about that? Do you think that's possible or not possible at all? And also, I wanted to ask you about Jade. She was watching Peter. Why do you think that she was watching Peter? And what do you predict is going to happen next? Okay, so we're almost done, but before we completely say bye, I wanted to ask you a few more questions. So what I wanted to ask you about was, number one, Pax. Pax is right now having a family. He's really happy, right? Do you think that this is the way that things should have been, or do you think that Peter and Pax should have met? And number two is, Peter, what do you think that Peter will do if he arrives at his house? Do you think that he'll just go back to Vola, or do you think that he'll just strike up a new life? Well, I hope that you had a great time with me. So before we go, I just wanted to ask you a few other last questions. They're just, what was your favorite part in these chapters and then the whole book? Also, I wanted to ask you, how do you like this amazing book so far? And let me just tell you, it gets better and better and better and better. Also, what was your favorite character, and then your least favorite character, and finally, I wanted to ask you about Bristle, because we haven't been really talking about Bristle, right? She isn't really mentioned in chapters, but I just wanted to talk about Bristle. And what I wanted to talk about Bristle was, do you think that she and Pax, if there is a book 3, do you think that she and Pax will journey to see Peter again, or not? Okay, I was just really curious on that last question. But anyway, I hope that you had a great time with me. Have a great rest of your day or night, okay, guys? And just keep on reading this amazing book and other books, because books are an open book is like an open mind. Which that quote I actually got from Charles Chiltington. And if you do not know who Charles Chiltington is, then check out Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. Charles Chiltington actually said that an open book is like an open mind, or something like that, okay? But anyway, I got the idea from him in Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. He's sort of the opponent, right? He's sort of the opponent, but still, without him, the story will be very dull. There will be no competition. Anyway, sorry if I blabbed too much about the story, but anyway, I still, the story will be awesome. So I hope that you check out Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library, which I've also made a book club about. Sarah Pennypacker has also made the book Pax, the first one, and then she's also written a lot of other books. So I hope that you also check them out. They're as good as this book and others, and Pax, okay? Have a great rest of your day, okay, guys?